Welcome back to Radio Noir. This is Pat Doherty here, and I hope all of you had a great Easter. If Easter's not your thing, hey, hope you had a great weekend anyway. I know it's not for everyone. I spent my weekend pretty much eating. Yeah, I wish I could say there was more to it, but no, just eating. The worst part about it was Easter Sunday. I actually had a pretty big breakfast. And then we had an early dinner. And rather than taking that meal lightly, no. I just plowed through course after course because my rationale was, well, yeah, I don't normally eat this much, but I can do this. It's Easter. What has happened to how we treat holidays in America? Have we lost all imagination that we don't even know how to celebrate without committing glorious acts of gluttony that would make a competitive eater beg for a paycheck? Seriously, every holiday has its own little eating quirk. Christmas, you eat next to a tree. July 4th, you eat with American flags. Halloween, you get candy with a costume. Thanksgiving, eating. We don't even have silly hats for that. It's just eating. I don't know what the solution is. I'd say we invent another holiday, but we would just get complacent with that one. Let the greeting card companies take over Christmas too, leaving us to overeat and give our loved ones teddy bears with Nike swooshes on them. And that's if we like you. The rest of you would get a gift card to a store that you would never shop at unless you received said gift card. So, Merry Christmas too. Enjoy your $10 piece of plastic to Bed Bath & Beyond. Pass the stuffing. So this week we have Ben Cook-Feltz on the program. Great guy, great musician, and whenever the two of us get together, something pretty zany happens. But I'm actually playing his CD release, but you can't come to it. It's a virtual CD release. I understand if you would think that wouldn't make sense. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, you'll just have to listen to the whole podcast now, won't you? Here's Ben Cook-Feltz. You wouldn't expect anything less from Radio Noir. Right. Okay, Ben Cook-Feltz is in the studio, and when was the last time I saw you? It couldn't have been the last Radio Noir, was it?
No, it was probably about a year ago. We played a show at Palace,
God.
Wild Times.
Oh, I remember that show,
yes.
Too.
Where you got into sort of a heckling match with a chaperone.
Was he really a chaperone?
Yeah, they'd been...
That just makes it worse.
They weren't chaperoning an event at Wild Times. They'd been... it was a school dance that they'd been working, I guess. And they had just come over to Wild Times to have a couple of beers and kind of relax.
God. And then we were playing like probably too loud, and then like I noticed like all the people in front of stage were enjoying it, and then he said something, and I was just like, yeah, to that guy, yeah, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'm sorry for flicking you guys off. I wasn't flicking you off. I was flicking that guy off. And the guy was like, the more you talk, the worse you sound.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, you didn't pay to get in here, and I'm being paid to be here.
Right,
so, like,
exactly.
I still have 30 more minutes to do. It's a nice night out. Leave.
Right. But you did this brilliant thing. Where, for the very next song that you played, you were playing it all bar chords with just using your middle finger the whole time, like moving up and down. It was so great.
Well, I mean, I'm not even going to say I'm not proud of that. I'm not going to apologize for it, but it is what it is. I think I think every time we play a show together, it just seems like something ridiculous like that happens. 'Cause the first time I met you was actually my first gig in the Twin Cities ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. You're gonna laugh when you hear this. This was Dave Aftal and I were doing Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds.
Oh God, yeah.
And you were with Sonic 8 doing the Ninja Turtles thing.
Yeah, I was Donatello.
Yeah, and so like I meet like all these bands, and I'm just like, what is going on? So like I meet you in like a Ninja Turtle suit. And then, like, a year later, we're playing what was it? The Terminal Bar, where young careers go to start and simultaneously end.
Pretty much, yeah.
We were playing that, and my cellist, Tim, like, we were hanging out, just looking around. He, like, gets a handful of popcorn, and he's just like, man, this was probably popped when Purple Rain came out. But, like, so you guys were already on stage, and you're setting up. And I was just like, wait, is that the guy? Because, like, I couldn't tell because, like, you had the Ninja Turtle thing going. I was like, is that the guy that's from the... And you turn around, they're like, I think we're ready. Are you ready, Beso Misterioso? And then, like, your bassist turns around with, like, this ridiculous luchadora mask and just says, "Sí." And I was just like, I don't know who this guy is, but I need him in my life.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
So, you've been working on... You've been working on this this new project that I think is awesome because you've always had this thing like we do things bands only joke about, and so you're doing a digital release and a digital CD release party.
Yes, and it actually I'm glad that you said the whole thing about bands only joke about because it came up in a conversation where we were just kind of joking. Basically, I put this new CD out. It's called Ben Cook-Feltz and You. I'm changing my theory a little bit, but the original idea was we were just going to launch it digitally through my Bandcamp website, put it up on iTunes and all that stuff, and just kind of put it out for whatever price people want to pay for it. My main thing is anymore, I just want people to hear this music.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of thinking of ways to creatively release it that kind of tied into this entire digital-only project.
Yeah.
And we kind of thought that, well, why don't we do a regular release show, only instead of doing it at a venue, do it at a garage, or actually now it's going to be a studio in Northeast, invite some buddies out, have some beers, play some tunes, film the whole thing, and then just launch it virtually.
Why not?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't guarantee that this is the model to use, but it's going to be fun. So
yeah, and that's I mean, it seems like anytime we get together, something ridiculous happens. I realize that like this is kind of like how it is. I think with musicians in the Twin Cities, like we all know each other, but I don't even think we like really know each other. Like, did you grow up around here?
No. I'm originally from Iowa.
Okay.
Cedar Falls, Iowa. And I came up here in 2004 to go to school, McNally Smith.
No way. I graduated from there.
Really? Yeah. It was an experience.
Yeah.
Congratulations on getting your diploma in the mail.
Yeah. Like most colleges, it took a little long. I think 9 months to be exact.
Yeah, that's generally how long it takes. No, actually, it doesn't. It made me realize that I graduated in May of 2006, and I don't think I've actually gotten my diploma in the mail yet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So anyone from McNally who's listening to this, I'm waiting anxiously by the mailbox with a tear in my eye.
Oh God! So you grew up in Iowa. How did you even find McNally Smith? Because
found it through a friend who was looking into it because we were both kind of interested in recording at the time, and it was music tech.
Yeah, back then,
and this was like 2001 that my friend was first looking at it, and at the time, it seemed like there was this school. I mean, there was Berkeley, as far as like places to go to study recording. Yeah. And I was always interested in Minneapolis, and it just seemed like kind of the right fit. And I came up here and did a little studio tour back when it was in Minneapolis, which
Yeah.
is I think where IPR is now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And I was just really, really impressed. And one of the things that I remember loving was that the guy that gave the tour, he ended the whole thing with this really cliched phrase. He just said, "Follow your dreams," which, you know, I mean, it's very cliched. But at the time, I was coming from a really well-meaning college, but it was University of Northern Iowa, which I love, and I love the experience. But it's a teacher's college, and their whole emphasis is on learning to teach like someone else, play like someone else, do that whole thing.
Were you thinking about getting into teaching, or
No, I was.
Well, where did you go to Iowa for? I mean,
Why did I go to Iowa?
Yeah.
UNI?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I will say originally I was thinking about being a vocal teacher,
Okay, yeah.
but I ended up going for percussion.
Go figure.
Yeah, well, you know, it was the thing that interested me the most. And I kind of knew that, honestly, my bachelor's degree was something where I was going to get the whole well-rounded education and build that whole thing up. And then what I was going to do next was
Yeah.
the thing that I was going to want to focus on more with my life.
And that landed you here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always have an interest in music, or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah?
I couldn't. It was. I mean, like, I was an angsty teenager. When I was, like, that was my, like, it calmed me down. You know,
sure,
like going
sure,
over to
sure,
high
sure.
school, just like, I hate everything.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just been music is the only thing that I've ever done personally that I feel like I've been really good at.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lousy at sports. You know, you throw like a floor plan at me architecturally, and I have no idea what to do and all that kind of stuff. But I've always been able to kind of sit down at a piano and play a song and you know, do all that kind of stuff. So
When did you start playing?
I started playing. I just say it was when I was 5 because I can't really remember earlier.
Yeah.
And I started by I basically taught myself how to play piano,
Okay.
and I started. I am a huge. We've talked about this before. I'm an unabashed, huge Godzilla fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. Wear it on my sleeve, and it actually started by watching old Godzilla movies, liking the songs, and sitting down at the piano and teaching myself how to play these Godzilla songs. And from there it went to Nintendo music, and from there it went to just starting to come up with my own melodies and eventually writing words.
Wow.
So
Were you one of those awkward kids like me who was like 15 in a bar playing in a band? And they had to like X your hands, because I did that for. I probably shouldn't have been doing that, but like, when did you start gigging in the cities? What was your first band? Because
in the cities or just in general?
it was well, both.
Yeah.
I mean, I started playing with other people, and then I formed a group.
Sure.
Is that how it was for you, or did you always kind of have? Because you have the Armada and then the Damnation Consort,
right?
Which are like two, band focused groups,
Right. No, when I started making music, it was all instrumental piano pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is when I was a teenager. Like, I had this huge shift in college. So when I was playing piano originally, it was for things like church benefits.
Yeah.
I had a very bizarre experience. A mother of a friend of mine was always pushing my music because she really liked it. So she had me play things like AIDS benefits and things like that. And one of them turned out to be this drag show. And I had no idea coming into it that was what I was going to be playing. So I'm just playing these really nice, classical-oriented piano pieces, and these guys in drag kept walking out to me and going, "Sugar, you're just gorgeous. This is wonderful." And, I was 15 or 16 and just completely, freaked out just playing this music, because in Iowa, that's not a common sight.
They're horses of a different color.
Right.
Now it's perfectly common. That's like one of the few states that has gay marriage, doesn't
right,
it? Yeah.
Right.
Go figure.
Go Iowa. That completely took me by surprise when that happened, but that's good.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe you started the trend.
Right, my piano music got some people thinking. So anyway, I didn't start gigging in bands until I was in college.
Yeah.
And at that point I guess it was my sophomore year, I was in this really, it was just support. It was this horrendous alt-rock group called Soundproof Room. And we'd play all the kind of top 40 stuff that was around in 2000, 2001.
Like Vertical Horizon?
Vertical Horizon, Evan and Jaron, Lifehouse, Hanging by a Moment.
Oh my God, Evan and Jaron. You know, I actually had to meet those guys.
Really?
Yeah, well, I used to go to Augsburg.
Oh, okay.
And I was on the entertainment board for like ASAC, and then they were booked one year for our big thing. And like...
What year was this?
Oh man, 2006?
Really?
Yeah, you know,
okay.
so they were...
A little bit after the...
Yeah, a
okay.
little bit. And so it was just kind of one of those things where it's just like, you know, we didn't expect much. We were like, yeah, just why don't you show up and play Crazy for This Girl? And,
right, yeah.
But the thing is, like, they were real, like, divas.
Really?
And I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on something that's going to get on the internet, but I don't care. The one guy like stayed in his hotel until he pulled like the Chuck Berry thing. Like he just showed up 5 minutes before he was supposed to come on. Like no sound check. And then our director was like, he's a huge figure in the GLBT community. Okay. Like he's like fighting the good fight, and
which is good. Yeah,
I don't know, Evan or Jaron, one of the two guys made like a pretty blatant, you know, like gay slur on stage, and like that was one of those things where I was just like, all right, I'm getting out of here because, you know, like we were all paid a stipend per semester, and I was just like, I'm not dealing with this crap.
Yeah,
it's a Saturday night, and you know, I'm gonna be a college kid, and I don't feel like cleaning this up, but he was furious. Like,
sure.
He was getting to the point where it's just like, I'm going to call all the other colleges, make sure they know
Tell
about
them
this.
Not
and
to
it's
book
just like, and then everyone's just like, all right, well, calm down. And I was just like, wow, Evan and Jaron, not only are you washed up hacks, you're also really hateful about it. Like, but
oh man. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but enough slandering other artists. Like we have any right to talk.
Right, no kidding.
Not that we would want to write Crazy for This Girl, but
right. I dream of that actually. While I'm waiting by my mailbox for my diploma, I'm rewriting Crazy for This Girl. So now you know the secret life of Ben Cook-Feltz.
The secret dark
the dark twisted life.
Well, how did you develop your sense of humor? Just because it's just,
God, I don't know.
Well, it's just like I've talked to so many artists where it's just like they're either like really charismatic and humorous, or they're like really shy, reserved, and like tortured. And I think it like stems from like some sort of defense mechanism, you know, like you know, because. It's always, you know, like you're always like that guy. Like when you're that young, it's just like, well, I either start getting really funny, or I learn how to play a sport really well.
Sure. Well, if this is about to take a very dark turn, if I really wanted to find the root, because when you first said it, you know, where'd you get your sense of humor? I'm thinking, well, I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when I was like 10, Monty Python. But as far as using it as sort of a defense mechanism, I'm a cancer survivor.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. I had, when I was 5, I was diagnosed with something called rhabdomyosarcoma. To anyone who doesn't know, I wear a prosthetic nose. Yeah. And it came from that.
Wow.
I was a little kid. So... Sorry, I'm also recovering from a cold.
Yeah,
to pile it all on.
Yeah, the flu and everything.
Right, flu and everything. But so really, if I really think about it, I think it is kind of a way of dealing with it, because that's a pretty serious thing to happen when you're a little kid. And one thing that it kind of made me realize at a very early age, very inadvertently, was that there's really nothing that's so severe that you can't laugh at it.
Oh, yeah.
And deal with it positively. And, you know, the whole George Harrison, all things must pass thing, no matter how bad something looks, it will get better. I mean, things move in cycles, and all things will, you know, resolve themselves. So if I really thought about it, that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah.
Just having, a sense of humor about everything and trying to keep things just a little bit light, because I mean, there's a lot of pain and a lot of crap in the world.
Yeah.
And even being a musician, like on the level that I'm at, we're all on the same playing field, and you might as well have fun with what you got.
If you can't make light of it, chances are it probably isn't worth taking seriously.
Right. Yeah.
That's incredible. So you were that young.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, like, I got nothing on that.
That's okay, man.
Well, I had manic depression and anxiety.
Well, it's funny because I don't like...
I had fucking cancer. Why don't we move on?
Apparently, I did that once. Like, I don't remember doing this, but I think I was having kind of a bad day, and like I used to work at a coffee shop down in Iowa. It was my favorite job of all time, and I guess I was doing some dishes, and a coworker came in. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He was like, "Oh, not good. I got into a fight with my girlfriend, and I didn't get the grade that I wanted to on the test, and I just had this project that's really eating at me." And I guess like I just stopped and looked at him and was like, "Yeah, I don't have a nose," and I walked away. And he was just like, "That's true. Okay,
well, okay. I'll take the C-.
Right? Yeah, I'll go with it.
I'll give Debbie a call.
We'll work things out."
Well, so that now that we're pretty much caught up, I guess. Like, what's
right.
What do you plan on after the CD digital release? I mean, do you plan anything crazy or just?
I don't know. The crazy things seem to come up just at random. I am playing. This isn't a different band. I'm in a band called Art Vandalay.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Seinfeld reference?
The Seinfeld reference,
nice.
yes.
Okay,
it's
awesome.
It's a great band. It's kind of Americana roots rock. The guy is very much into Tom Petty, John Prine, that kind of stuff.
Nice. Yeah.
And on May 21st, we're playing this thing in Farmington called the Soybean Festival. Which I'm just really jonesed about because it's a soybean festival. I love these little things, Other than that, I mean, I'm right now. I'm just playing. I've got a whole bunch of new songs that I want to record this year.
Nice.
And just kind of see what happens. I don't really know. I just always want to do things that seem like fun.
Yeah.
And that are a little bit different and goofy. We have these ridiculous ideas, eventually to do a tour, but rather than centering it around, and this is not very like productive on an artist level, but rather than centering around like some of the target market towns, finding places that have ridiculous landmarks like the Jolly Green Giant statue or the Twine Ball or something, and just going there and playing, just to say, the tour of oddities in Minnesota or something like
just
that.
Just the viral video YouTube
Yes,
tour.
exactly. Continue this digital thing for a while. So here we are in front of the Twine Ball playing, with the Armada in February.
Well, you got to hit Wall Drug. That's like the Madison Square Garden of roadside attractions.
Yes. Wall Drug and the Corn Palace and all that kind of stuff. So
every time I love having these conversations with you, because every time like someone's just like, "Yeah, we're going on tour," like you'd be like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. How about I add this spin to it?" Yeah, it's always brilliant stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I try. So what do you think? Speaking of just like all these, because I remember the first thing you guys did that made me like laugh out loud, because it was one of those things where like it was a polished recording, but it was also like this idea that was just like, oh man, like because like the songs sounded like they were performed at like a really big amphitheater. Like it was recorded really well, and then there's like these like just huge crowds applauding, and he was live with the God Complex. Were you just like, where did you record that?
Oh live? My God, it was the Red Sea.
that makes it better.
Right. Yeah. The place where, like, 4 people show up at most because they charge $15. Not to take anything away from. Well, actually, no. I don't support the Red Sea.
No. Well, I mean, that's one of those places you can promote. Yeah, like you could be Prince and not be able to fill that place.
Right. Like, just on principle. But sorry. So yeah, we played this show, and it was kind of as a favor because I was friends with Christian. I don't know if you know him. He would run. He
used to do the Acadia.
He did the Acadia.
Okay.
He did the 400 bar sometimes, and then he would do the Red Sea. And so he asked me to play this kind of fill the night.
Yeah.
So we played it, and about the only real perk to playing the Red Sea is that they would record your set.
Yeah.
And depending on who was running sound, you could get fantastic recordings.
Yeah.
Of the full band, and it was really cool. So we did that, but we had like 4 people there, and the idea was either put it out like that and have like after each song, or throw in stadium level applause at the end of each thing and make it sound like we were on. And once we decided we were going to do that, then before each song I started announcing it's great to be here in Berlin or Tokyo, and make it sound as if this was a compilation from a world tour that we did. I think I might have ended it by saying, Viva la Moon or something like that. But
because my first listen, I was just like, are these guys like huge out of state? And then I stopped to think, and I was just like, wait a minute, I just played a show with him last week, and there was like 30 people watching both of us. But no, I mean, it was a great live recording, and the fact that like the applause like was just enough on that like kind of fake, but also like kind of believable.
Right,
if you like just like, hey, yeah, this is my friend's band. You're like, wow, they must be
huge. Well, and if you listen to just one isolated track, I had a few things up on my MySpace and everything, then it probably was, quasi believable.
Yeah.
But we also had fun using the same applause track like 6 times. So it's like, not only is it this huge crowd, but they all clap and cheer exactly the same, between songs. So
did you teeter on having laugh tracks for your stage banter?
We did. We did throw in a couple of boos in the middle of it. Yeah. I think I said something like, there's a part during one of our songs, which is on this new CD called Here I Go, the Redneck Romp. Mm-hmm. And in the song, everything stops, and I encourage the audience to start raising the roof for no reason whatsoever. So there's like, about 20 seconds where everyone's just standing there, raising the roof with their arms. But when we did it live, it was just a kick drum. Yeah. And so I said something on stage like, well, this is supposed to be a conga solo, but I forgot my congas. So then we overdubbed a bunch of boos. Like, they're all upset about that. Yeah. The other thing that we did, which out of context, this isn't going to sound incredible, but I took a little bit of a snippet of my bass player, Andy Schuster, talking about how halfway through one of the songs, his bass like lost all of its low end. And like he was just saying, my bass got less bottom sounding. And what we did was we just cut off the second half of that sentence. So all he says is, my bass got less bottom. And we overdubbed huge stadium applause after he says, my bass got less bottom. And then we had him repeat it. So now it's just like, according to this universe of the live CD, it's his catchphrase is, my bass got less bottom, which the crowd just loves for some reason. So.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it is huge in Japan.
That's right. My bass got less bottom is a real big thing in Japan.
And you got there through your, love and passion for Godzilla films.
That's right.
And
the
rest is history.
Very serendipitous. I put it all together.
So in doing all these things, you have to have like a couple go-to memories of like your favorite live show experiences, be it like on stage or backstage. I mean, like, is there anything that just sticks out in your brain as like,
most of my favorite ones, unfortunately, have to do with not my own music. I was in a country cover band for about a year.
That'll give you stories.
It'll give you stories. Weird ones. My favorite one is, I don't know where the hell we were. It was somewhere up in northern Minnesota. And to be fair, I mean, like, I'm not a very big country music fan.
Yeah.
It's really easy to play on the piano. And it's also, admittedly, really easy music to play when you're very drunk. You can just sit up there and, you know.
It's also easy to listen to when you're very drunk.
Yes, it is. It's very easy to listen to and
or
sing along to.
Were you playing, like, you know, Garth Brooks, or were you doing, like, the Hank Williams songbook?
Oh, no, it was more modern stuff. It was Garth Brooks. Yeah. We had a main singer, but I would have to take leads on stuff like She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy, the Kenny Chesney song, and I did.
Oh, my God. That's an actual song?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's an actual song. Luckily, we never played any venues in the cities.
Yeah.
But if I ever go back to Roberts, Wisconsin, they'll know me as the Tractor Sexy guy. But which is one more thing I can add to my resume, I suppose. But at this one particular show, I still don't know exactly what was going on, but there was a fairly drunk woman in the audience who decided that, you know, we'd been playing for a while, so we obviously looked famished. So she had just gotten a fresh pizza from the bar and decided that she was going to walk up on stage and start feeding every member of the band while we were playing. So, like, it must have been fun to listen to because, like, you know, Cole was taking this guitar solo and suddenly he had to stop and, like, lean over. He was trying to say no, and, like, eat this pizza, and, like, we're all laughing and ha ha ha. And then she walks up to me while I'm supposed to be taking a piano solo. Like, the solos apparently were her cue. She's like, oh, here he's playing now. He wants pizza. So she walked over to me and, like, fed me this pizza while I'm trying to do a solo at the same time, probably sounding horrible. And the pizza was fresh out of the oven, so
you're burning the roof of your mouth.
Molten cheese was, like, sliding down my face while I'm trying to play. So that was probably my favorite ridiculous story.
I have some interesting experiences.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Country music. I mean, aside from stories playing my own music, but country music specifically, I used to basically my entire life is freelancing, be it writing or songwriting or performing, but, like,
which is cool.
Yeah, and then so I ended up working on a stage crew at a huge country festival called Woodstock.
Okay, where's that?
It's in Winstead, Minnesota.
Okay.
And
Winstead.
Yeah, okay. And I forget the 9/11 guy was playing. You know,
like, God.
Yeah, that the guy you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
He recorded a 9/11 song. And rather than, like, every artist, like, known to man who wrote a 9/11 song and donated the profits to, like, charity and the family, like, he kept all the profits to kickstart his failed career.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's playing this show and he still plays the 9/11 song. This is 2010 and he's still, like, riding this song. And so, like,
years after the Iraq War.
Yeah, and like all his people, like, his backstage people were completely full of themselves. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. And we ended up stealing their beer cooler, like, our entire crew, because we were just like, because we had to put up with so much, like, guff from them, and it's just like, all right, whatever, man. Like, we're stealing, like, and they're, like, trying to look like rough, tough country boys, and, like, we steal their beer cooler, and it's all hard cider and, like, Bartles and James.
Oh, really?
Like, all right, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, but when we were tearing down the stage, you know, they had a crew that, like, fed us. Their crew fed us, and it was, like, part, like, volunteers of the festival. And so I get up, and it's just, like, you know, bratwurst and beef, and, like, I was just like, hey, do you have a vegetarian option?
Are you vegetarian?
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, I've kind of lapsed in recent years. My brother and Tara, his wife, they came up with the term they like to call freegan. Where it's just like, if it's, you know, if you're gonna feed me, I'll eat it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But at the time, I was like pretty strong vegetarian. And,
Sure.
So they just look at me like, you know, they just give me the most cockeyed look, and they're like,
vegetarian.
We got bags of chips, and I was just like, screw it, just give me the broad. So I get down there, and like the drinks were being served in like little, you know, like it was just like grab and go, and like by the time I got there, they took all the drinks. So I was just like, hey, could I get a Dr. Pepper? And they're like, sure. And they come back and they're like, here's your Diet Coke. And I was just like, that's not what I ordered. And they're like, we figured you'd want it.
Oh my God.
Like, what? All right, yeah. Which just fed. Like, I told the crew that, and they're like, yeah, we need to get out of here. Like, let's just get our work done and get out of here. And
Sissy boys drinking their Diet Coke.
There's a sissy boy, and we're like, all right. So that led to us, like, our nerd rage, like led to us stealing their beer cooler, and they're like, sissy boy, you're drinking wine coolers.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
that's funny.
Yeah, it's amazing how once you, especially artists like that who are like so huge, like the underbelly of that stardom, like the real stardom is just like, this is like, you know, it's a movie set.
Yeah, it's all posturing.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
And all the guys who talk with southern accents on stage are just like, we need to get to Chicago. Like,
yeah,
I hate everything about this.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And that's always something that I've kind of struggled with myself, I feel like, because people have said to me, you know, I like your music, but there's a lot of different varieties to it. And admittedly, you know, I play with a rock band, I play with a percussion armada.
Yeah, you do play with a lot of groups.
Yeah, and I mean, I front those two things. It's been more armada centric than anything.
Okay, yeah.
But I personally, it's just I like having the options, and I like to stay interested in this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it always boggles my mind when, I mean, I think that the people that are really up there, they obviously had their sights set on, you know, doing everything that it takes to get the number one record and do all that kind of stuff. But for me, I just feel like I can't really compromise anything about what I do.
Yeah, it's. I mean, selling out is like. I think there's two versions of selling out. There's like the punk rock version where like you sell out and you still don't get any money, and that's what I worry about doing every day. Like, sure. Oh man, you totally sold out and you didn't make a dime.
Nobody even notices. Yeah,
but. What are you gonna do? I mean, you can't. If it exists, it's gonna be criticized, no matter what. I mean, like I'm probably gonna receive comments on this podcast, like, you talk too much. It's a podcast.
Yeah, really. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, so I have to ask you about this before we wrap it up, because the last time I saw you, you like. You went on this aside, like the band was like rising to this, and like there was like this really melodic piano part, and then you had this whole speech prepared.
Yes.
I mean, you can probably tell it, but I would only paraphrase. But like, how did you come up with this whole idea of like, yeah, next time you like, I want you to go to a homeless person,
give him a Diet Dr. Pepper, and wish him Merry Christmas.
Yeah, because when we were performing, this was like in May, so it wasn't even Christmas in July. Like, it was just, you know.
Right.
Is it the same holiday? Is it always Christmas, or do you throw in? Arbor Day?
I do usually say Christmas. I try to spice things up. Sometimes I say, like, invest all of your money in acid wash or slap bracelets or something like that. The Diet Dr. Pepper Merry Christmas, it was Christmas time when I came up with it. Yeah. But I should also say that all kind of ties into this theme that the rock band has, which is the BCF theme.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, like... basically what it consists of, it's a grunge rock sort of thing, because my initials are BCF, and they also happen to be, chords, musical chords, which a guy, a member of the band Fuck Nights came up to me one time and was like, BCF, my 3 favorite chords. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I've never thought of this before. So I have the BCF theme where we play B, C, and F, and the band screams out BCF, and I'm like, motherfucker!
Yeah.
And that's like the one thing that people have come up to me and been like, hey, it's BCF, motherfucker! I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. So, it really was just kind of by necessity. The last song on this record is called Golden Day.
Yeah.
And I was trying to come up with a way to connect the end of the song Golden Day with the BCF theme, because I like to kind of begin and end with this rousing ode to myself, so you don't forget who this is, And so I just kind of started thinking about doing some sort of a, I'd like to thank everyone for being here, brotherly love, and all this stuff. And honestly, there's no real method to it. I just thought finding a homeless person on the street, giving him a Diet Dr. Pepper, and wishing him Merry Christmas seems like such a nice thing to do.
Well, when I saw you, it was just I was like, I want you to feel this song in your heart and remember it and take it with you. And the next time you're on the street feeling down and lonely, you're going to see a homeless man and you hand him a Diet Dr. Pepper and wish him Merry Christmas. And then when he says why or something
what the hell? I don't even drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Who told you that I wanted this?
You look him in the eye and say,
BCF.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I don't know how you can top the ode to self.
Yeah.
But all I have to say out there is to all the listeners, if you see BCF on the street, hand him a Diet Dr. Pepper and wish him a Merry Christmas.
Yes, and be sure to say Merry Christmas, BCF, motherfucker.
Well, thanks for coming here. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very good time.
I guess I'll see you at the CD release. We're
yes.
playing that, and tune in digitally.
Yes, it'll be on. Right now, it'll be available through YouTube if you look up Ben Cook-Feltz release.
Yeah.
I've also set up a separate blog, just bencookfeltz.tumblr.com, where I'm going to be hosting the release and basically any other video. And as I'm going to start recording a new record, I'll probably start posting a few rough demos of that stuff just so people can see my progress, And I'm not quite sure I'm going to ask for everyone's input yet as to where the record should go, because I'm an artist, but I'll be doing that. And then you can also find this record on my Bandcamp website, which is, again, Ben Cook-Feltz, one long word, .bandcamp.com. Do you use Bandcamp?
I do, yeah. The artist collective I'm affiliated with has one for all the artists, and then I have one for myself. Bandcamp's great.
I love it.
Yeah. It's I'm thinking of pulling off iTunes, just you guys aren't doing anything for me.
Right. Well, yeah, I love it. It feels far more supportive to the artist than iTunes is, and you can, just from a commercial standpoint, you can retain more than
that's that's
see,
a good thing. There we go. The punk rock version is selling out.
Exactly.
It's all about the money that
you make more money
get.
No, it's cooler. It's way cooler right now. So anyway, it's on there, and you can listen to all the tunes as many times as you want. Purchase them individually. Purchase the whole thing with the artwork. Pick your price. Give it a listen. Tell me what you think.
But you can't come to the show.
You cannot. Sorry, guys.
Well, both of us will see you virtually on May 1st, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
I guess I'll see you soon. This was fun.
Indeed, thanks.
Where you go, what you say, what I found, what we could be someday.
So there you have it. Ben Cook-Feltz. Always a good time to talk to him. Did you guys think I said the word like enough? I was trying hard to say it an obscene amount of times, but I'm not sure I hit my mark. Okay. Anyway, check out Ben's CD release party May 1st, live from the Hideaway Studios. Click the link
Don't be shy.
and be amazed. I can't
I'm on
promise that.
fire and you're
I can for Ben's set, maybe not my set. Well, seriously, I want to thank Ben Cook-Feltz for coming on the show. And once again, all you listeners, gotta thank you. Please, keep in touch.
We'll go on. We'll go on till the goal